Today on Cody in the Cinema, I'm discussing a film starring Brendan Fraser, directed by Hikari, who worked on the Beef TV series, miniseries. This is called Rental Family. Presumably a comedy. I found it to be more of a drama, a somewhat, if not totally sentimental film that really won me over as I watched it. And it's a pretty good watch, and it's a good role from this actor. And it's the kind of film that I hope more American families can see. It's a good entertainment, but it's also touching in its own right, and of course it's going to be a little bit contrived. It's going to be a little too sweet for its own good, maybe, a little bit too whimsical with the music. All of that is stuff you would expect, but the heart is in the right place. The actors have a terrific energy and chemistry, and it's really a hard film not to at least appreciate. I really liked it. If you're unfamiliar with this movie or this premise, Brendan Fraser is a somewhat struggling actor in Tokyo. He lives in Tokyo. He's been there for maybe 7 years. And he's not quite had that breakthrough yet. And he gets this job to be part of this rental family company. Now, it's not exactly explained completely. And, he has some interesting coworkers who have other jobs that are similar that you learn about, and that can be kind of interesting. But let me give you some examples. In one part of the story, the biggest part, he's assigned to be a temporary dad to pretend to be the dad of an American who has long since abandoned his family living in Tokyo. And the purpose of this is that the mother needs the father, who is being pretend played by Brendan Fraser, so that to help get the daughter into school. And so he's kind of taking that place, but the little girl doesn't know that he's just an actor. In another example, he pretends to be a journalist to interview an older actor, and that he develops a relationship with that older actor. And that person doesn't necessarily know, like, he's not really a journalist, he's just an actor. And so there's all these different little roles he plays. And some of those go in places I didn't quite expect. Some of them, pretty much, exactly how they're going to play out. I mean, this isn't the most, unpredictable thing. But there was one part I was like, I didn't expect that. And I thought that was kind of cool. That had to do with the actor, the older actor, a stubborn older actor. And I liked where that went in that film. So early on, there's some parts where there's some comedy sort of attempted, like, there's a funeral, and that stuff's a little awkward. The camera goes all over the place. Like, at first, it felt like it was going to be a little bit lesser of a comedy. But as it goes along, I feel like there was more confidence in the direction and the story. And you can almost tell that once it hits those strides, everyone was really invested in what they were doing. And it becomes a better film as it goes. The part of the film that I liked that was explored, and it probably couldn't have been too much more explored for what this film actually is. Some of the film deals with social constraints, having to do with the culture, having to do with expectations of what certain parts of life should look like. And I will leave it at that. Some of those themes you might find familiar in a filmmaker that I'm hoping this film will lead more people to. So there have been quite a few good films, and there's a whole film language kind of out of Tokyo. And this film, I really hope, leads some number of viewers to Yasujiro Ozu, my favorite director. A director Roger Ebert really liked, and a director a whole lot of directors and critics and film fans like myself have liked. And so in this film, I saw a lot of indications that the director had probably seen Floating Weeds. So if you're familiar with this Criterion Collection work, you might look out for some of that. There is some Tokyo story in there as well. But another film that I thought of that is a better film, it's one of my favorite films, that deals with some of these concepts of loneliness and family and chosen family, that is a little better of a film. But this is really a really great film. Perfect Days, Wim Wenders, also set in Tokyo. So I was thinking about those films as I was watching. And it does feel like this comes out of a sort of gentle cinema of Tokyo, of these kind of films. And so if you like Ozu and you liked Perfect Days, you'll probably at least appreciate this. And Brendan Fraser is so charismatic. I mean, here's a guy who always lifts his material up. You can watch The Mummy to this day, and all the cheesy effects and all the bad script points, and just there's so much wrong with that movie, and it doesn't really matter because it's so entertaining, because Brendan Fraser really holds that together. He really lifts those around him. You know, the same thing is true with a comedy that should have been much worse than it was back in, I think, the 90s, Bedazzled, right, with Elizabeth Hurley. And so I feel like not just him, but all the other actors, they're almost better than the material here. And they really have so much heart and soul in what they're doing, especially the scenario with the girl and how they interact. And that part kind of went where I thought it would. But like, I would, if you haven't heard it, you know, you're not super familiar with this, or you've kind of thought like, maybe should I see it? I mean, I had the ability to watch it on Hulu, having to break for ads, which was not great, you know, and you can really see that quality difference with ads, but I would see it. This is a film that I think has a lot of good, just like emotionally touching. I mean, there's some pretty good, like, earned emotions in this film. You know, it's like, some of it is just kind of sentimentality, and, you know, but some of it's pretty earned, and a few things I didn't expect. I would see it. I do think there's some beautiful shots of Tokyo as well. Maybe not quite like what some of these directors I just mentioned did, but it's a good film, and it's something that if you like that actor, you should see. So I wanted to make a quick video about that and ask if you all had heard of it or had seen it, what your thoughts were, especially if you thought it was maybe a little bit too much on the sentimental side. It's a big warm hug of a film. So there you go. If you do me a favor, click the like button. I'd appreciate it. And subscribe to Cody in the Cinema.